guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome back to a Challenger Spectate. We are watching Skarner and we're watching this guy called Natty Nat. Currently he's closing into 1800 LP of me recording this, and he's an absolutely obviously insane player. I think at times he has been like near rank 1 or thereabouts on EU West. And what's impressive about him, if you look at his profile, he's a jungle main, clearly, but he's not what you'd call a specialist player. And a lot of people always tell you to climb in solo queue, you either need to be a one-trick or at least you need to specialize into a style of gameplay. He doesn't. His specialism is jungle, but that's it. The broad spectrum of jungle. He plays assassins, he plays Rengar, Kha'Zix, but then he plays tank stuff. That's very impressive. So we're watching a Skarner game. Now, I will say, of recording this, obviously, it's pre the new season patch, obviously, and this is when Heartsteel is still a little bit borderline OP. So this is kind of asking the question out loud: is Skarner still crazy? Because Skarner on his rework release was overpowered, like just stupidly overpowered. He then did get hit by quite a lot of nerfs. Meanwhile, Akali walks into the enemy jungle and dies at level 1. Bel'Veth picks up the kill, but, and again, this is where it's a but, not sure if the Katarina is going to get this kill. She actually might end up dead. Oh, that's actually pretty good. She got the kill. That's pretty big. But that basically means even though Bel'Veth got a first blood, she's going to be so much slower in her jungle clear. And yeah, it's worth knowing his hashtag and everything is Natty Nat, hashtag 2005. So I think he was born in 2005. That makes me feel really old. I was born in 1994. So yeah, he's playing like kind of semi-pro. He's considering can he go and will he go full pro, which probably, yeah, if you can get to this challenger level. Pro play and challenger, they are different. Solo queue is inherently different. We've had some solo queue players over the years think that they can go to pro. They go to pro and they're terrible because they can't adapt to pro play. They're a solo queue player. It's very different, but mechanically, if you get to this rating mechanically, you are good enough to be a pro. It's just whether your mindset can adapt to the difference of playstyle. It's a very different game. In solo queue, most of the time you're playing for yourself. You're making your own decisions for you. That should benefit your team. In pro play, there isn't that. Every decision you're making is benefiting the team. End of. It's not about you as an individual anymore. That's, for some players, really hard to adapt to. And I'd especially say probably for jungle players as well, because jungle players are... Whoa! That's insane! I was wondering what he was doing. Oh my god, so he left it when it was like 700, 650 health. And he the knowledge that, oh, by the time it makes its way around here, it's going to lose more health naturally from the pet system, because it ticks damage. And it won't reset, and I can smite it to finish it. That is like literal perfect timing. Oh my god. I've never seen anyone do that ever. I've never seen that. So meanwhile, okay, instantly, look at the decision. Oh, Bel'Veth went top lane to kill the Akali. That means that they've not done blue. Instantly into their blue buff, instantly doing a form of punishment. And that's, again, a very big thing that you see in jungle. The higher rating you go, it's about maximizing what you get versus the enemy team. Now, I will say I don't know why there's a Karma mid. It could be an auto-filled support player, and he gets himself a kill. Yeah, I don't know why you'd be playing Karma in mid in modern meta. He doesn't do enough to warrant it. I will say I'm surprised Skarner hasn't gone to bot side and just killed that Scuttle Crab, because Bel'Veth's it'll be already dead. Like, there's no way this isn't dead. Yeah, because she dove kill top lane and instantly went there. So that's the only mistake that this Skarner has made so far, is after that Karma gank, the Skarner should have returned to bot river and killed that. But now, obviously, with the timing of everything, does his first base, and now these are starting to respawn. You can see the Bel'Veth, so we actually have vision. She might have been thinking about going for an invade, because again, stealing is very important in modern day. Because what stealing jungle camps does, it extends the gap between the smites. So obviously, this Akali's having a rough game. The more camps you get the points towards your smite, and you need so many camps to get, to the upgrade of your smite. But if you're directly taking camps away from the enemy jungler, and if you clear all your camps and you steal some away from them, the gap just gets huge. It really delays their smite. So if you look right now, Skarner's on 29, Belveth is on 32. So Skarner's got a 3 lead at the moment. Obviously, because he stole her blue and has probably done 1 or 2 more camps overall. Bot lane does get a kill down in bot. It's worth knowing if you're like, oh my god, Victor bot lane. Victor obviously is quite strong at the moment, but one of his weaknesses, even in mid lane, is obviously he's very immobile and he's vulnerable to ganks. Well, you're not vulnerable to ganks as much when you have a support helping you all the time. So Katarina getting another gank, Belveth coming in, but Skarner's level 5, Belveth is level 4. This might not go the way that they want it to go, and Katarina, with the craziness that she is, gets a kill, and then the reset gets another kill over on the Belveth. So yeah, that was really bad because that's just pre-Scuttle Crab spawn. Again, one thing that is very noticeable, the higher rating you go, you really see people not care about these very much. They're good, you know, if you can get them without any negative, yeah, take them. But like, you won't really see in Challenger, like you do in lower ratings, someone waiting in the pit 5 seconds before they spawn, waiting for them to emerge. They just don't do that. They're not that important. Especially the first round. Like, the first 3, a lot of the time, whichever team just gets there first, the other team will just concede them. And then what you'll likely always do is go, okay, they got the first 3, we'll fight for the next 3. You know, that because you just don't... Whoever's there first usually has the momentum at that point, and momentum is so key. So obviously, item build wise for Skarner is likely going to be a Heartsteel, unsurprisingly. Does get the slow, and then into the ultimate, into the Katarina. Shen ultimate is coming through. Katarina literally does the funny thing that we always joke about. She literally just pressed R. But this is going to be an extended fight. Skarner's really good in extended fights. Even without Heartsteel, he's good. Belveth does show up, and again, you've got to expect that the longer the fight, Belveth will turn up. While there's probably a bit of downtime now, what we actually can do is look at Skarner's runes, if you're wondering what he's gone. So Grasp of the Undying, Shield Bash, Conditioning, Overgrowth, and then Inspiration Tree, Magical Footwear, Approach Velocity. So again, very good for a kind of movement-based champion like Skarner. And then Ability Haste, and then Health per level, Health per level. So it is about scaling a lot of it. Grasp the Undying, you're getting more health the more you hit people. Which does show, you know, normally Grasp the Undying is not something you take in the jungle because you're not getting those constant trades in top lane. Oh, Belveth, that's risky. Yeah, like, this Belveth, to me, you know, she's not had a bad game, but to have the confidence to be stealing, I'm not sure that confidence... Well, she shouldn't have had that confidence, you know? The Karma's not going to be that useful from mid lane to come and save you, really. She's just not got that power. Bot lane do get the Victor, so it's a... Everyone's dead, apart from... Well, the Nico actually went back, so that Caitlyn just 2v1 the enemy bot lane. She ends up dead, but kills both of them, from what I can see. That's pretty good. Does the same trick that he did the first time, but did have to go do a bit of damage to finish it off. And I'd imagine we're very shortly going to see the Skarner base, because I'd imagine he's not too far off Heartsteel. So yeah, there's the base. Yeah, again, stealing is a very important thing because you're denying, as I said, with a smite. And then just look at, by the way, Skarner, if people said from the outset, you know, oh, who's the power farmer in this matchup? Nobody would say Skarner. You'd say Belveth. So, of current vision, well, 66 farm to 38. This Belveth is getting destroyed when it comes to farm because she prioritized ganks early. But here's the thing, she's been involved in 5 kills, which is good. Skarner's been involved in 4 and also has 20-odd farm above. So it does show this Skarner's playstyle has worked really well. So, goes to the E, nearly gets the Belveth. Look at that damage. Oh my god! That is not... Look at this damage! Where is it coming from? So recently... Well, I say recently, again, I'm bulk recording at the moment. There was a big Reddit thread that blew up and a big post on Twitter that blew up about champions like Skarner. In the actual post, it was a Tam Kench versus a Jinx, and obviously numerous people have given their opinion about it. I'll be straight up, you know, it's not a surprise. I agree with what people have mainly said of these type of champions that they just run up to you and hit you, and for some reason they do billions of damage when they're really tanky. Yeah, they've been overpowered for such a long time. Months and months and months. And you never feel it doesn't feel great when you get killed by one of them. Lovely engage, double ulti into a Katarina, into a Nico that's not needed. That's a nice combo. But yeah, I do hope one of the hopes of balance next year, it's let's hope that these type of champions are calmed down. And again, a lot of it, not all of it, is to do with Heartsteel, but you saw in that engage, the initial burst, by the way, was just Skarner, and the second burst was Heartsteel. It's just crazy, you know? And I also agree with, if you watch, I think it's Nemesis's reply to it, there's a lot of coping that happens, that people, like, try to give justifications to why these tanky, non-skill champs get to do 500 damage by just right-clicking to somebody. It's not okay. Like, that, you don't have to justify it. It's crazy. Like, the fact that these champions get to do that, it completely negates playing a mage. It completely negates playing an AD carry, because these champions do more damage than these roles a lot of the time without the risk. Oh, hello, Belveth. Like, look at this damage. This is a DPS Belveth just getting absolutely decimated. Like, not even close. It's weird. And it, again, in that Jinx clip, there was a lot of coping going, oh, her build was the problem. Well, this Belveth has got Blade the Ruin King, the perfect item, into a Skarner, in theory, who is building Heartsteel health. She has no chance beating him. Zero. And yes, you know, in this game specifically, there's a 2 to 3 level gap. Gaps widening and widening. But it's just crazy. It's literally crazy. I've always said it. I'm okay with tank meta. I like tank meta because usually a tank meta brings more skill to the game when the game is actually slower paced. But I've always said, as an extra to that, tanks don't need to do a crazy amount of damage. They need to do some damage, and that's the thing. They do need to do some. I have seen some people going, oh, they should do 0. No, they need to do some. Dude, this poor Belveth. She's trying, man. She is really trying, but this Skarner is just all over the map. Every time that this Belveth's going for a play, the Skarner's right there. Really good jungling, obviously. It's worth knowing, but yeah. But yeah, they need to do some damage. And if you're like, why did they have to do some? If tanks don't do any damage, they can just get ignored. You know, they could do an AD carry or a mage would be like, I'm just going to walk past you and go hit the person that's doing damage. So they need to do some, but it's not okay the level that they can do for free. And, you know, now the Skarner is snowballing. Nice kill. Like, it's okay. And I'm also okay if a tank has absolutely managed to snowball. Every champion in League, if they've snowballed in a damage capacity or anything, they should do a good amount of damage. They should. But this Skarner is doing this level of damage, and he hasn't even gone back since his first proper big purchase. It's a lot. So one of my hopes for next year is I hope that they get this balance under control. Heartsteel is fundamentally changing, but it's not just Heartsteel. That's the thing. It's not just Heartsteel. A lot of this damage that you're watching is the initial Skarner damage, then you wait a few seconds, and then it's the Heartsteel proc. But yeah, it's crazy. But that's the thing, like Fraz is saying, level and experience play a big part too. It's very true, but watching within this game, within this replay, Skarner was doing more damage than most people before he got ahead of anybody. Literally, before he got ahead of anybody, he was doing more damage than everybody in this game. He's like now, oh, he's 3-0-10. He's got 1.5 items when, you know, most people have only got 1. Yeah, you could say, oh, that's warranted. That's fine. He's really far ahead. But even before he got far ahead, he was doing way more damage. It's just crazy. It's too much. Because again, how do these champions consistently get really far ahead? Because they're really strong in the early game. You know, especially, and that's the biggest thing, is these champions are supposed to be really weak early, and they scale up to their crazy level of strength. But they don't even feel that weak in the early game anymore. Oh, what? And again, not taking away from, oh, Skarner is strong with blah, blah, blah. This guy's playing really well. Mechanically, decision-making wise, you can't take it away. He is playing very, very well. If you play terribly, sure, you won't get as fed, you won't be as useful. You have to play well fundamentally. But this is the thing. If you play well on a Skarner or a Tam Kench or something like that in the current League of Legends, right now the way of it is there's no point playing a Belveth. There's no point playing something else because they're harder to pull off. They're riskier to pull off because you could just get one shot. And the Skarner's doing equally, if not more damage than the Belveth. Even if the Belveth was doing equal in terms of everybody's equal, this Skarner will probably doing more damage. It's just weird. It's a very odd time that we're in. So he's going to go back. He's probably going to buy his second item. Unending Despair already at 15 minutes. So yeah, at this point, he's got Heartsteel, Unending Despair. He is unkillable. Like, he practically unkillable in a normal skirmish, unless like 3 or 4 people have just time with Skarner and they all can just hit him for free. Yeah, they can kill him. But then if his Katarina shows up at the right time, they're all dead. Like, it's just crazy. So Belveth once again, it's poor Belveth. She's trying her best. Oh, that was nice. He goes for the Belveth, fakes it out to then go for the Scuttle. That was quite nice. Obviously, Belveth herself will want that Rift Herald because it does give her the empowered evolution. But yeah, overall, very good game. It's worth knowing that the Shen up in top lane, he's having a pretty good game. 203, 30 farm up to the Katarina, but Shen, you know, similar category champion than a Skarner, but you're in the island of top lane. Top lane, unfortunately, no matter what champion you play, you can just lose games from top because the rest of my 4 teammates are losing really bad. And obviously, Shen himself is not a carry champ. Fundamentally, what you want to do on Shen is split push and ultimate into health. So it's not ideal that your strongest champion on your team... Oh? This decision making. Oh my god, that was so smart. So he knows this tower's going to die straight away, so he knew he didn't need to use the charge for it there. So he uses it to keep up with the Shen escaping, uses it to CC the Shen, and then can continue on for the tier 2. This player is good. Like, holy moly. It's the little things that you've noticed. Yeah, he is really good. Now the tier 2's dead. He's stunned. So he's standing in all damage. He's standing in Victor ultimate constantly. Bonk. He's just going to go tank a tier 3 tower. He's probably going to end up dead now because he just did too much. But, like, that's mad. And does get the final charge. Wow. Yeah, the Skarner is playing fundamentally insanely well. Definitely. But it also is highlighting how strong Skarner still is. So Infernal is up. I wouldn't be shocked if this Belveth is going to try to get to this sneakily. It wouldn't shock me because they're losing the game. A way to get back into a game is objective. And Skarner is dead. So I'm actually going to just check where is the Belveth. She's actually not. Wow. I guess because of time and time again, she's been trying to go for these objectives and time again, it's gone bad. She just doesn't want to go for the risky objective anymore. You know, she's been kind of bullied out of going for that playstyle. Hilariously, but that might be the only playstyle their way back into the game at this point. The Shen is TP'd down with it. No, he didn't. I was going to say he TP'd down with his ulti. No, he's got TP and his ult available, so they must have just directly taken the fight with Shen. Nearly killing the Senna in the process. Worth knowing, a little tip for Nico. Obviously, it's not a Nico game, but notice that is staying around. So yeah, little tip, if you're playing Nico, put the clone, your W clone in a bush and press base while you're, you know, can still control it. But a clone will then, even though the duration of the clone should expire, the clone will stick around for as long as the base animation is happening. So let's just say, randomly, a clone lasts 4 seconds. Use the base animation in the last second to extend the clone for as long as possible. So instead of having a 4-second clone, I think a base takes 8 seconds, maybe? It's top of my head. A non-sped up base takes about 8 seconds. Boom. Into the Katarina ultimate. Very nice. So you'll actually then be having near enough a 10-second clone, giving you vision in a bush instead of a 4-second clone. So little tip there for anyone that wants to play Nico. It's just extending the vision gain that you're gaining. Gain. And here we go. So again, one of the other benefits that, you know, these type of champions, which is always a benefit of a tanky champion, is he can just stand in a tower and not care. Yeah. So like, it's worth knowing, Belveth, obviously, probably a little bit tilted, bad game, blah, 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 is now, as we sometimes say, rage split pushing. You know, she's playing Belveth, it's a melee champion. If you're taking melee fights into this Skarner, you're not going to win them. So she's trying to be useful to some degree of, I'll just go side lane, get some farm, kill the tower. Arguably, it's the only way that this Belveth can do anything. It's the, as we said earlier, it's the major risk of playing something like Belveth nowadays. Why play something like Belveth when she could have played Volibear? You know, it's less risky. She could still group up if she was Volibear into a Skarner because she'd be really tanky as well. You know, that's the problem fundamentally at the moment. Yeah, that's the other thing with Nico. I give that advice generally when I'm playing Nico or playing against Nico. Nico is fundamentally countered by pressing tab. The scoreboard, she is literally countered by that more than anything in League of Legends. If you press tab and there's a Nico in your game and her profile is highlighted, it means she is somewhere on the map. So if you can't see Nico's, like, you know, these little images down here, if you cannot see Nico's face, it means she is on the map disguised as something that you can see. But if you press tab and it's a question mark, she is not in any form of vision. So, like, fundamentally, it's genuinely the biggest counter to that champion. So, like, you press tab, and if you don't see it, if you see, obviously, just her icon on the map, oh, you know where she is. Easy peasy. But if you press tab and she's highlighted, and there's not a question mark, her profile picture is lit up, she is disguised somewhere that you can see. So she's probably a minion or something trying to run through a lane. It's such a big counter. And I think Nico mains are obviously very unhappy about it because it took a long time for people to realize this, but it's starting to become more mainstream in knowledge. I wouldn't be surprised that that might get patched out because it is fundamentally a counter to that champ. Anyway, there you go. Nice little game there of Skarner. 7-1-14. Good farm. You know, beating a Belveth by 50-odd farm. That's a lot. Crazy good damage. Incredibly tanky. His only death was massively worth it. Getting, like, a massive push in top lane. You know, nearly breaking open top lane in one push, really. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Do you think these champs are a bit too strong? Let me know. Again, they should get a bit of a nerf with Heartsteel being changed. But as I said, it's not just Heartsteel. Like, his damage was very good, but even before a Heartsteel proc. So let me know by liking, commenting, subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.